My beloved child, people often believe that letting go is the lot of the defeated. But I tell you, letting go is an invitation for those who are willing to live a life not ruled by passing emotions. Not every departure is a loss, and not every tremor that quivers in your heart is a truth to be clung to. There are things I do not remove from your life because they are too heavy, but because they are too tangled, so tangled that they veil the sound of my call. I see you holding on to feelings that no longer carry life, yet you call it loyalty. You weep over things that are no longer true, yet you beg me to preserve them as if they were heaven's decree. You do not realize that the very turmoil in your heart is what keeps you from hearing my voice. There are seasons when I do not take you out of your circumstance, I take you out of yourself. For where you are stuck is not in a relationship nor in a painful event, but in the maze of emotions that have never been sifted under my light. Emotion is not a sin, but when you let it lead instead of me, you lose your bearings. I see you have gone too far, all the while believing you are loving rightly, waiting rightly, living rightly. You are still praying to keep what robs you of peace. Do you see the contradiction there? I did not make you to be dependent on any person or any feeling. I made you to live with the full dignity of one who is loved. Yet true love never knocks you down, never leaves you confused about your worth. I want you to learn how to walk away, not because you do not love enough, but because you are brave enough to love in a holy way. When I called Abraham to place his beloved son on the altar, I did not seek flesh and blood. I sought to see whether faith would triumph over feeling. Abraham did not offer Isaac with numbness, but with a faith that rose above a father's heart. So too there are things I ask you to release, not because I am unfeeling, but because I want you to love what is right in the way that is right, and keep what belongs to the one who is right. What you cannot release with your hands, learn to release by faith. I myself will make it up to you with the very peace your heart is missing. Emotion is a gift, but when it is not joined to faith, it easily becomes a snare. How many times have you felt your heart surge and then stepped forward only to discover you were chasing what was momentary? You wept, truly hurt, truly longed, truly, yet that does not mean what you clung to was true. Feelings can lie, your soul does not. Only when you dare to set those feelings under the light of my word will you see clearly what is life and what is masquerade. Do not let what you feel drown out what I speak. Truth does not rest on moods, but on my word, ever sure, ever leading to freedom. My child, there are long nights when you say nothing, yet your heart is full of screams only I can hear. I see you struggling in a labyrinth of emotion like a small boat run aground in dark waters with no moon to shine and no star to guide. At times you think you are on the right path because the feeling burns so strongly, but you do not know that feelings do not always point the way home. They are the flesh's reactions, the echo of what you have lived, not the compass of your soul. Feelings are real, but they are not always right. When you start to live by what you feel without placing it under what I speak, truth begins to fall away. You think you are hearing me, but at times it is only the echo of fear within you. Fear of abandonment, fear of loss, fear of pain. Emotion keeps you from leaving what once made you happy, even when it has become a chain. Your heart aches, so you assume it must be true love. But pain does not always mean love. Remember, even Elijah asked to die because he thought he was alone, not because I had forsaken him, but because feeling had clouded his sight. Emotion can grow so strong that it turns life into a burden, but I came and fed him with heavenly food so he could see that reality does not rest in sensation but in me. 1 Kings 1:9-4-8. The greatest snare in this world is not the obvious sins, it is the confusion between what feels right and what is true. I see you have stayed many times because you felt guilty if you left. You have forgiven many times, not because I called you to, but because you pitied others more than you cared for your own soul. Compassion not illumined by my word easily turns into excess emotion, wearing down your spirit as you cling to what no longer belongs to you. Then you blame me for not giving you peace, yet you do not see that I never called you to live by feeling. I call you to live by faith. Sit down, child, and dare to face the truth. Many of your choices did not begin with my call, but with your fear of loss. Much of what you call virtue is not the fruit of the Spirit, but emotional reflexes that have not been healed. You chose to yield not out of humility, but because you feared being left. You chose to forgive not because I taught you to love your enemies, but because you feared being the bad one in their eyes. Do you see? Emotion can drive you to do good, but in the wrong way, and the result becomes a burden, not a harvest of sweetness. I do not demand that you become hard, nor do I ask you to suppress your emotions like someone without a heart. I am the one who crafted feeling. I understand every sigh within you. But I call you to bring them before me, that I may discern, illumine, and heal. You do not have to judge rightly when your heart is storm-tossed. You only need to surrender them. For only when you learn to loosen your grip on emotion will you keep your peace. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. Psalm 3:7-5. Not every weight you feel means the thing itself is wrong, but if something has stolen your inner stillness for a long time, examine whether it truly comes from me. I am the God of peace, not of confusion. Whatever comes from me carries life with it. Some things you call love, yet they make you question your worth day after day, child. That is not love. That is the mask of emotion steering your soul. If you do not learn to stand firm amid the voices within you, will keep chasing what shifts with every hurried heartbeat. I did not come to extinguish emotion. I came to set it in its rightful place. When you know what is true, feeling will rest under the guidance of my word. But when you use feeling to decide what is true, you will find yourself lost in a whirlpool without exit. Let me teach you to live not by emotion but by faith. For truth never depends on what you feel. It appears when you are humble enough to say, Lord, my feelings are loud, but your voice is louder. You need not stifle your sorrow nor deny your wounds, but do not let them define who you are. I see you as a precious vessel of clay, scuffed yet still my workmanship. Do not let a moment of breaking convince you that you are no longer worthy of love. Let me be the one who defines you. Do not hand that role to your feelings or to others. For I am not only the one who hears your prayers, I am the one who sees what you cannot bring yourself to say. You may weep, but do not choose to live in tears. You may feel lonely, but do not let that feeling drive you into the wrong embrace. You may feel forsaken, but the truth is, I have never left you. Feelings come and go, but my word stands forever. Learn to be still before the waves within, so you can hear me whisper the immutable, I am here. I do not change. You are not forgotten. That is the truth, not what you feel in this moment. If you are weary of dissecting your heart, let me do it for you. Only trust me, and let me teach you to discern which feelings spring from life and which from lack. I will not scold you for coming in a tangle, but I will not leave you tangled either. I love you too much to let your soul be drowned by emotion. And from that very place, when you dare to release, to step out of what has become mere habit, you will see that some things you thought were love are in fact tests, wearing the shape of feeling. For true love from me never leads you into a maze of emotion, and it never robs you of deep peace. When you learn to recognize that love, you will know what to keep and what to release, not because you no longer love, but because you have learned to love in the light. You have believed that every pain proves love, and every tear marks sincerity. But not every fierce feeling is born of heaven. Some things wear love's cloak, while hiding within them confusion, dependency, fear of loss, and ceaseless anxiety. I see you enduring in silence, thinking that love is to suffer, to bear blows, to never give up. Yet, have you paused to ask me, Does this love come from you? Or are you adorning your endurance with fine words to avoid facing the truth that it is slowly draining life from you? My love does not drive you to distraction. Love from me does not keep you awake with doubts about your worth. A sanctified love does not shackle you to the obsession of clinging to another. It teaches you to trust me, to keep what is right in its place. If any affection keeps you from living truthfully, from stepping unless that person permits, from speaking unless that person affirms, then that affection has turned into chains. And I have never forged chains for those I love. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. 2 Corinthians 3:1-7. You once thought that letting go meant you did not love enough, but hear me. A love that comes from me will never make you forget who you are. It will not shrink your soul to fit someone else. It will not force you into a race to prove your worth, nor make you compromise with what is wrong out of fear of losing each other. If a relationship is stealing the peace I give, then no matter how deeply you love it has set itself against my will. And whatever opposes me will sooner or later weigh your heart down. I know love is the most beautiful thing you have known and also the easiest to counterfeit without my light. The enemy does not lure you with what is blatantly evil. It uses what is almost good. It uses feelings of closeness, connection, destiny, to make you think it is true love, even as your heart grows more restless, troubled, and weary. It makes you believe that love is to endure, to keep silent, to blame yourself each time you are wounded. And while you deny yourself in the name of love, you are also denying me, for I am the source of the peace you have lost. I do not need you to remain in a relationship that merely looks holy just because it has lasted many years, just because you both go to church, or just because you fear people will say you gave up. I need you to be faithful, but not faithful to harm. There are people you truly love who are not destined to walk with you to the end of the road. There are affections I permit to blossom, not so they will bear fruit, but so you can learn to discern between true love and love that lacks light. Do not hold on to what I have no longer anointed. Clinging to what has lost its grace is no different from gripping a perfume jar that has run dry. Sacred love is love that places me at the center, and wherever I am present, there is order, there is light, and there is peace. If you are in a relationship where you no longer recognize my voice, no longer keep stillness in your heart, no longer dare to live by truth for fear of conflict, then you must ask yourself, where does this love come from? Not everything that stirs noble feelings is given by me, and not everyone skilled at kind words is someone I have chosen. You must learn discernment to love with wisdom, not with emotional dependency. I do not teach you to love with no matter what, with grasping or with mere endurance. I teach you to love in my way, love that sees, that corrects, that refuses what harms the soul. I teach you to love by truth, not by illusion. And love that comes from me will not make you lose your bearings. It lifts you up, heals you, and encourages you to live in line with what I have formed in you. It does not force you to change your essence. It journeys with you from glory to glory. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Romans 1:3-10. I want you to pause, not first to let the other person go, but to let go of a distorted definition of love. You must release the image of an ideal romance you tried to construct in your mind in order to see reality, that the other may be good, yet not good for you, or that you may truly love them, yet they do not love you with the same light. When you accept the truth, I will step in and set what is crooked straight, something I cannot do while you are still clinging, because I will not force myself into a place that is not ready for my healing. There are times I allow the other person's silence, not because I do not hear your prayers, but because I am answering through that very silence. There are times I close a door not to punish you, but to keep you from stepping into a place where you do not belong. I know what would break you, so I restrain it by prompting someone to leave, or by letting things grow so uncomfortable that you must begin to ask questions, and that is, my love, painful yet protective. Do you know this? Peace is not something you obtain after love succeeds, but something that must be present as you love. If a love leaves you confused, sleepless, suspicious, and unsteady, it is not true love. My true love, even through trial, leaves a deep anchorage within a steadiness that does not come from the other person, but from my presence in the relationship. Without me at the center, even the most beautiful bond becomes only a cleverly decorated battleground of the mind. You need not fear losing each other if I am the one holding you both. And if I am the one you truly trust, you will be brave enough to release what steals your peace, even when you do not yet understand why. True love does not need to grasp. True love does not make you dread the future. True love from me will always carry a voice within your heart. You are being kept. When that voice is absent, do not try to manufacture certainty. Step back and let me lead. You cannot keep your peace if you refuse to learn release. Holding on is not always strength. Sometimes letting go at the right time is the bravest act you can offer your own soul. And sometimes leaving is the clearest confession of loyalty to me. Do you remember when I led Israel out of Egypt? They left their chains, but their minds kept turning back to the pots of meat. Not because where they had lived was paradise, but because they feared the new land, feared trusting what they could not see, feared walking on without knowing tomorrow. So it is with you. At times you know well that what you clutch is hurting you, yet you hold it like a sacred keepsake, not because you do not feel pain, but because you fear loss. But I ask you, if a thing no longer holds life, is it worthy to keep forever? I do not blame you for trying. Nothing is wasted when you have loved with a sincere heart. Yet sometimes that very sincerity makes you forget that there is a limit to endurance, a place where love must stop, so dignity may remain intact. You were not made to suffer without end. I formed you from dust, but I breathed into you my very breath, meaning you have worth. And when you choose to leave what is no longer right, you are not weak. You are living according to the value I placed in you. Do not confuse loyalty with bondage. True loyalty always travels with light. It does not demand your silence in the face of wrong, nor bind you to stay for promises that have lost their grace. When I call you to depart, it is not because I wish you to give up easily. It is because I have seen what you have not. I see that the road ahead holds no room for the old thing, and if you insist on clinging, you will be the one delayed in the plan I have prepared, as Lot was delayed when he lingered after I urged him to leave Sodom. Genesis 1:9-15-26. You still think letting go is failure, but releasing what is no longer anointed and no longer life-giving is the first step of victory. Victory over fear, over the ache of emptiness, over the craving to be affirmed. The weak cannot release, for they live by feeling, by validation, by image. But the strong, those who trust in me, know how to walk on, even when hands still tremble, hearts still hurt, and eyes are still wet. They know obedience has a price, but peace is priceless. You do not need everyone to understand why you leave. Obedience does not always come wrapped in others' agreement. There are times I will ask you to step quietly, no noise, no explanations, carrying nothing but trust. That is not running away, that is obedience. And at times the greatest courage is not in saying the last word, but in choosing to say nothing, to walk away, and to place the rest in my hands. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 1:4-14. Sometimes what exhausts you is not the relationship itself, but the effort to keep playing a role you were never created to play. You strive to be always strong, always fine, always forgiving, because you fear that if you lay the role down, someone will leave. But I ask you, if they stay only when you cannot be yourself, are you holding them or holding an illusion? And if they leave when you begin to live in truth, that is deliverance, not loss. I will not leave you long in a counterfeit space of love, for it will quietly kill your soul. Letting go does not mean you do not love. On the contrary, sometimes love needs distance to heal, silence to be purified, and a farewell to be made holy. You cannot keep someone who no longer wishes to walk in the same direction as you. I did not create two people to drag each other to the end of life. I created them so that if they remain as companions in light, beating with the same rhythm of faith. If that is no longer so, then you must find the courage to step out, not because you drop love, but because you release what is no longer right. I see that you have tried enough, but striving in the wrong direction only empties you. I see that you have prayed, but not every prayer results in keeping something. Sometimes the very prayer is meant to give you resolve. I have not stopped listening. I am waiting for you to release. For when you let go, I can enter to heal, rebuild, and restore what you have lost within yourself. No one enters freedom without leaving something behind, and no one steps into a new plan without relinquishing a portion of the past. Release is not denial. Release is looking truth in the eye and accepting that love has seasons, boundaries, and form. When something no longer carries light, you have both the right and the responsibility to say stop, not because you despise, but because you trust that I have something better for you both. And this is not something you must fight to keep. It is something you learn to receive by letting go. Only after you bravely release will there be enough room in your heart for me to heal. A heart that keeps clutching the old has no space for new peace, and where there is no room for my presence, the soul remains a barren land. You are weary of trying to heal yourself, I know. Each time you are hurt, you stoop to gather the shards, glue them with silence, cover them with a smile, and hide what has never been named. You have learned to rise quickly, not because you are strong enough, but because you fear others seeing your weakness. You hide your wounds because you fear no one will know how to bind them. But my child, there are fractures no human hand can mend unless you place them in mine. I see how you have learned to live with pain as if it were indispensable, but you were not made to remain forever in a strained state. I did not make you merely to get by, but to have life abundantly. John 10:10. Yet you cannot live abundantly if you let old wounds seep into your heart like rust into iron, not breaking you at once, but hollowing you little by little within until you begin to believe you are unworthy of healing. My heart aches to hear you think so. You suppose time will make everything vanish, but time does not heal, only I do. Some spend a lifetime trying to forget and are never truly restored because they have never truly come to me uncovered. They pray but say only the beautiful, the correct, the already filtered words. They come to me like a sheep already washed instead of a child with mud on both hands. But I do not heal what you hide. I heal what you bring. Do not be afraid to weep when you pray, child. Do not fear to name the ugliest thing inside you. I saw it before you knew what to call it, and I have loved you still. But you must let me come in, not merely as a listener to your stories, but as the one who remakes you from within. I do not patch, I recreate. I do not cover, I cleanse. And when you truly invite me into the ruins of your heart, I will breathe life into that place as I once did over the dry bones in the wilderness. Ezekiel 3:7-1-6. Not every laugh is joy. Not everyone who says I'm fine is truly at peace. I watch you step out of a wrong relationship, yet your heart still wonders, did I really do the right thing? Not because you want to return, but because the wound has not closed. And when you leave those empty spaces unguarded, the enemy will use them to whisper accusations in your ear. This is why you must come to me, not for explanations but for healing. Not so I may justify you, but so I may renew you from the depths. Stop running to others to fill what only I can fill. Stop blaming that person for not loving you rightly. They too are unhealed. Do not keep faulting the circumstances, the past, or yourself. Healing does not begin with reasons. It begins with presence. When I enter, you will see that what you need is not an explanation but steadiness of soul. You do not need to understand everything to be made whole. You need only to trust me enough to say, Lord, I am tired. I cannot heal myself anymore. You will find that one day the pain no longer paralyzes you. The wound will no longer be your hiding place, but the place where my glory is revealed. For I will use the very ground where you fell to raise a marker for those who are stumbling in the dark. That pain, if you place it in, my hands will become a witness. And you will see the very things that once felled, you become the place where your song rises, not because the pain has vanished, but because I have stepped into the midst of it. Where I am present, peace reigns. Only when you let me touch your deepest place will you know what true healing is. No more straining, no more suppressing, no more pretending. Only you bare and broken yet safe in my hands. Only you no longer performing, no longer forcing strength, no longer demanding reasons. Only you, the child I loved, when you were but a faint form in your mother's womb. I will not fix you like a broken object. I will love you as a work being made new, and I do this better than anyone. For when you are healed, you will not live merely to get by. You will rise to become a light. The pain that once weighed you down will become proof of grace. And when you climb out of the depths, those who are lost will see in you what the world cannot give, a life made whole that testifies to my living power. Do you know what keeps a boat from capsizing in heavy seas? Not smaller waves, but an anchor held fast in the deep. So it is with your life. I never promised to take away every storm, but I have always placed in your hands a faith strong enough to anchor your soul when hearts are unsteady. You do not need to pretend calm or act strong. You need to learn how to stand still in the storm, not because you are brave, but because you trust me. There are storms I allow not to punish, but to expose the foundation. When skies are clear, anyone can sing the song of trust. Only in the howl of wind and the crash of waves does the true heart appear. And just when you feel yourself about to sink, I reach out and lift you, not to prove my power, but so you may know your faith is real. As Peter once walked upon the water, when his eyes left me to study the waves, he began to sink. Faith does not turn storms into sunshine. It keeps your gaze on me rather than on the circumstance. Matthew 1:4-8:31. You have thought yourself weak for your tears, your midnight cries, your moments of wanting to give up. But I tell you, those who weep and trust are being refined. Those who dare to admit their weariness yet remain in my word are the quiet warriors heaven calls the chosen. You need prove nothing to the world. Every step you take in the truth while your heart is full of tears is the evidence of a living faith. I do not call you to be unfeeling. I call you to remain, to stand firm when nothing is clear, to keep loving while your heart is still torn, to keep praying when heaven seems silent, and precisely when nothing outside appears to change, yet you still choose to trust. That is when I work the deepest. There are miracles I do not make a spectacle of. I quietly reshape the heart, correct the angle of your sight, and open a way in your spirit before anything manifests outside. This is the miracle of endurance. One day others will look at you and see no trace of the storm. They will see a person at peace, steadfast, brimming with mercy. They will wonder and ask, "How did you make it through?" And you will not need to recount every wound, every tear, every cut. You will simply smile and say, "Because he was with me." The peace you bear will no longer be a private gift. It will become a living testimony that I am still God at work in the ordinary. When you step out of the storm, do not forget to carry a torch. Behind you are still many wandering in the fog. They need someone who has hurt, has broken, has wanted to let go, and yet still stands to know that true faith can live among ruins. And you will be that person. You will not need many words. The life within you, restored from ashes, will testify by itself. I am turning your wounds into holy ground. Every crack will be a place where my light enters, and from there it will shine into other souls. So do not hide your pain, let me use it. Do not cover the days you wanted to quit, tell them as evidence of grace. Do not erase the past, let it be sanctified. For I am not only the Lord who heals, I am the Lord of witnesses. I do not only make things new, I use the old to magnify my name. Faith does not spare you every blow, but it keeps you from shattering. It does not spare you every confusion, but it keeps you from losing your way. It does not halt the storm, but it holds you steady within it, as one who knows to whom you belong and who governs all things. Only then can you say, not with words, but with your life, "The storm once made me tremble, but now it is the place where I lift my song." Romans 5:3-5. It seems you have often felt yourself sinking beneath invisible waves, surges rising from the depths of the heart, where memory and longing collide and leave fissures without a name. There are times you thought you had learned to smile, to stand tall in life, and yet a single breeze from the past makes you tremble like a leaf in the gale. Child, no one is born with a hardened heart. No one understands true strength who has not first been shattered. Strength is not the refusal of pain, but the courage to face it, to admit you are hurting, and yet choose to keep walking. Strength is when your tears are not yet dry, and still you lift your head and believe that dawn will follow the long night. I know there are days you want to turn back, to cling to what felt familiar, a glance, a promise, a warm memory that now lives only in your mind. But child memories, however beautiful, must not become chains that bind the soul. You cannot fly forward if you keep looking back. Those who walked with you may have finished their part in this journey. They are not villains, and you are not at fault. Sometimes parallel roads simply cannot cross forever. Do not let old longing make you lose the way ahead. Do not let what was once beautiful become shackles that make you forget you were born to be free, to live, to breathe, to shine. You may think that letting go is cruel, that leaving is betrayal, yet often letting go is the only way to preserve what was best. Like a flower that has reached its season's end, you cannot force it to stay fresh because your heart still lingers. So it is with love, with family, with friendship. When a relationship makes you small and no longer allows you to be yourself, it is no longer love, but bondage. The one truly meant for you will not wound you with suspicion or make you question your worth. They will come not to seize your peace, but to cultivate that peace with you. I see you asking, why did they not choose me? Why was sincere love not enough? Child, some things are not about your being enough, but about life's own rhythms, courses whose meaning appears only when you have walked them through. Perhaps that person came to teach you how to love and left to teach you how to release. Perhaps today's cracks are the spaces where tomorrow's light will enter. Do not blame yourself for trusting, for loving, for giving. Every tear has value. Every collapse is preparation for maturity. You have feared solitude, feared the night swallowing your sighs, yet you did not know that in that stillness I am beside you. You may not see, hear, or touch, but I am carrying you through each long night, gently setting faith in your heart, longing for you to know that loneliness is not an enemy, but a teacher who quietly shows you how to listen to yourself. Only in aloneness do you discern what truly matters, which voice is your heart and which is merely the echo of old wounds. I want you to know that pain is not the final stop. It is the hard soil where new shoots will push through. When you dare to walk through suffering, you discover a strange strength flowing within you, a strength that makes you more compassionate, more generous, and teaches you that love is not always holding on, sometimes it is letting go. You were not born to endure without end, but to learn how to see light even within the dark. Imagine yourself as a river at times, running gentle, at times blocked by stones, at times raging in fury. Yet the river does not cease, for it knows its calling is to find the sea. So it is with you. Whoever comes and whoever goes, you must keep to your course. Beyond the trials, beyond the times you have broken, a wide sky of peace is waiting. Sometimes you will feel the urge to go back to try one more time. But ask yourself, do you want to return for love, or only because you fear the emptiness? At times we do not miss the person, we miss the feeling of being loved, being cared for, being seen. Yet those very feelings can be found within you if you will listen and tend to yourself as you once did for another. You do not need to wait for anyone to arrive to make you feel enough, because you have been enough since the moment you were created. I know you have forced smiles many times, covering your wounds with strength. But my child, it is all right if today you are tender. It is all right if you cry, if you feel you have nothing left. Only when the heart is soft does it make room for true love to enter. Do not be ashamed of your pain, for it is precisely your wounds that make you profound, that teach your eyes to look upon life with compassion. I am calling you not so you forget everything, but so you remember who you are. You are a child of light, of hope, of renewal. Even as you walk through the night, I am guiding you. I am keeping a lamp lit within your heart. Do not be afraid, for every moment you still dare to love, to trust, to dream, you are living true to what I have placed within you. Life is not measured by how many times you are knocked down, but by how many times you choose to rise with a heart that still knows how to love. Let the past rest where it belongs, and let today open new doors. Walk forward with the faith that you are worthy of a gentle love, a peaceful life, and a heart no longer afraid. You do not need to prove this to anyone else. Simply live fully, live true to yourself, and that is already the greatest victory. And if one day you find yourself collapsing again, trembling before old memories, remember you have never been alone. I am still here, patient, quiet, steady, upholding each step you take. For I believe that through your cracks the light will always find a way in. Believe this, my child, one day you will smile without hiding your tears. You will know that all these losses were only a stepping stone toward a love that is larger, deeper, and truer now, on its way to you. You are growing not by years, but by the courage to walk through brokenness. You are changing not for anyone else, but for yourself, because your soul longs to be free, to shine, to live a life of meaning. And I will still be here, quietly watching over you, reminding you that though storms may rise and the world may turn its back, you are strong enough to go on, for you are the miracle I have made. My beloved child, there are times when your heart feels it cannot bear one more wound, when each breath is heavy, as if laden with a sky of clouds. You look around and see faces passing by, yet none truly grasp the hidden ache smoldering within. But know this, in the very moment that seems like despair, my light is quietly pouring into every corner of your soul, like a drop of oil falling into a lamp, about to go out, feeding the flame of hope so it never dies. Your heart, though trembling, is held in my hands, tender yet unshakable, like a father clasping the small hand of a frightened child in a great storm. You need not appear strong before me, for true strength is not in concealing your frailty, but in daring to open your heart so that I may touch it, so my love may heal each scattered shard in the depths of your being. Do you know the human heart is easily stirred like the surface of water? A single pebble can send ripples far and wide. A careless word can keep you awake for nights. A cold glance can make you feel you have no worth. But remember, your worth does not lie in another's gaze. It lies in my unchanging love. When the world turns its back, I still stand here. When you are lost at the crossroads, I remain the straight path that leads you home to peace. Do not let your heart be dragged by passing thoughts or unreal fears. Anchor it in me, for in me there is no turmoil, no betrayal, no conditions. My love does not demand your perfection to love you. It is precisely because you are not perfect that I love you so much. Every crack within you is a place I long to pour my grace. Every tear you shed is a seed from which the flowers of compassion will bloom. Sometimes you ask why storms keep sweeping in, why one wound opens before the last is healed. But my child, no storm lasts forever, and there is no wound my hands cannot heal. I allow the winds to rise not to drown you, but to teach you to lean on me. I let the sea roar not to frighten you, but to help you learn to trust, even when no shore is in sight. True peace does not come when the sea is calm. It comes when you can rest in my arms while the tempest still rages. That peace is not loud or showy. It is deep and steadfast, like roots gripping the earth impossible to uproot. The world will urge you to rely on yourself, to be strong, to need no one. But my child, true strength is not loneliness. It is staying joined to the source of life. As a vine branch stays green only when it clings to the vine, you truly live only when your heart beats in rhythm with mine. Apart from me, you may try to build happiness with reason, with success, with forced laughter, but sooner or later the winds of life will sweep that thin sand away. When you abide in me, even if the world outside is a barren desert, deep within you, a sweet and endless stream will flow. I do not promise you a life without storms, but I promise that in every storm you will never be alone. When you are weak, allow yourself to fall into my arms. When you are confused, let my gentle voice lead you. When you are disappointed in yourself, remember, I have never been disappointed in you. I do not look at you through the lens of your faults, but through the light of the potential and beauty I placed in you from the beginning. You may see only ashes, but I see a seed germinating. You may see an ending, but I see a new beginning opening. Every pain, every loss carries a deep purpose if you learn to see with the eyes of faith. Learn to listen to the voice of your heart when it beats in harmony with mine. In the stillness of prayer, in the lonely moments that seem hopeless, I am still whispering. Do not seek me in noise or in outward show, for I dwell in the deepest silence. Let your heart settle like a lake after the wind, and you will see my image reflected there, clear, gentle, closer than ever. Those who have been deeply wounded are often those who love more deeply because they know what loss is. If you have wept, you will know how to wipe another's tears with full compassion. If you have been betrayed, you will understand what true fidelity means. Nothing you endure is ever meaningless. I turn even suffering into fertile soil for the sowing of love. When you let me use what seemed broken, you will see rising from the ruins a garden of forgiveness, resilience, and new hope. Do not fear the past, for the past has no right to define you. I am the one who defines you. Do not fear the future, for the future rests in my hands. Do not despise the present either, for in this very moment I am walking with you. Each day you awaken is proof that I have never left you, that my grace is still sufficient and still new. You need only one thing to return, to open your heart to trust. Then what you thought was lost will be repaid with something better. What you thought had died will live again in another form, more beautiful and more enduring than before. My beloved, the world may grow weary of you, but I will never grow weary. Each time you come home, my heart rejoices like a father who sees his wandering child return. I do not count the times you fall. I count the times you want to rise. So do not fear failure. Do not be ashamed of weakness. As long as you still long for the light, I will always be there, ready to lift you up, to dry your tears, and to restore the trust the world has taken from you. Believe that my love for you is not only words, but an act engraved upon the cross, where I bore the storms of humankind so that you could stand in the tempest and yet be at peace. Whenever your heart feels heavy, remember that image and know that there is no pain you must bear alone. I have gone before you, I have endured, I have overcome, and you will overcome as you abide in me. One day when you look back, you will see that those very storms have shaped you into someone more steadfast, more profound, more gracious. You will see that every trial had a purpose, every tear was counted, every loss was made whole. You will cease asking why and begin to say thank you, for through these things you have come to know what unfading love is, what unconditional peace is. Therefore, O little yet precious child, let your heart rest in my embrace. Cease your struggling, cease fighting alone, cease fearing what has not yet come. Let me be your harbor, your refuge, the flame that warms you through the long night. And when you set your trust wholly in me, you will see no storm can sweep away a soul anchored in my eternal love. My child, some think wisdom is hiding every feeling, smothering pain, as if burying embers in sand. They believe that when nothing is said and the face stays calm before the storm, they have mastered themselves. But no, this buried emotions never truly disappear. They lie quiet like seeds in the earth, waiting for rain to rise into a forest of roots. The more they are pressed down, the stronger they grow, the more they demand to live. Then comes a time when you can no longer hold them. They burst forth like a tidal wave, sweeping away all you have tried to build. Many fear that moment, thinking they are being destroyed, yet it is only the cry of the soul asking to be seen, to be loved, to be healed. I have not called you to kill your heart. I have called you to place that heart in my hands, whole with all its hurts, fissures, and hidden burdens. For I did not make you to become a stone without feeling, but to become a living soul, a body that can tremble, that can ache, that can love, and to know that only in my embrace do these things find their true meaning. Do you know, child, that your heart cannot heal itself in loneliness? It cannot stitch up its deepest wounds by its own strength, just as a flower cannot make the sunlight on its own. Your heart needs to rest in me, to be saturated with my breath, so it may be renewed, recover its courage, and learn to love without fear. When you pull yourself away from me, your soul is like a child lost in the night, directionless, hearing only the howl of the wind and the trembling of its own heartbeat. But when you return, when you whisper my name, a thin beam of light flickers in the dark. I am still there at the eye of your storm, steady and tender, waiting for you to come home. Remember the sea in a tempest, its surface heaving waves, crashing white foam exploding like the fury of the heavens. Yet far below the water remains still clear and at peace. That is your true image. Outwardly you may be swept along by the gales of feeling anger, sorrow, fear, loneliness, longing. But deep within your soul there is a chamber that is never disturbed, where I dwell, where silence cannot be shattered. When you pray, when you stop straining to control, when you dare to pour out what you have tried to hide, you are diving down into that abyss. No longer are you dragged about by the storm on the surface. You are drawing near to the place where my voice can resound, where I can touch you, soothe you, and calm your heart. This is why prayer is so sacred. It is not a dry rite or lines recited by rote. It is the breathing of the soul, the truest pulse of the heart returning to its source. When you pray, you are not informing me of what I do not know, for I know all things, but opening your own heart, letting my light enter the darkest corners within you. Surrender is not weakness. It is the act of the brave who know some burdens cannot be borne alone. When you entrust to me your fear, your anger, your pain, you do not lose them. You allow me to transform them into strength, into compassion, into the gentle light of understanding. Many believe that to be close to me they must be flawless, unhurt, unerring. But I tell you truthfully, it is precisely in your tender places that my power is most complete. I am not found in the proud towers of the self-satisfied, but in the small room where you weep. I am not atop the mountain of the complacent, but in the valley where you collapse with nothing left to grasp. There, when you admit you cannot save yourself, I can work wonders. I do not ask you to pretend to be strong. I ask you to be sincere. Only when you dare to be weak before me can you become truly strong. My child, do not fear your emotions. They are not enemies, they are messengers. Anger can tell you what in you has been violated. Sorrow reminds you that you have loved deeply. Fear alerts you to where you need to learn to trust. Each emotion is a door, and if you dare to open it, behind it lies the lesson I have prepared for you. But if you keep them locked, if you keep pressing them down, those doors become chains that imprison your soul. I do not want you jailed inside your own heart. I want you to interface, understand, and then place them in my hands. Only then will you truly be free. I know there are moments when you fear that if you let go, if you let the tears fall, you will shatter. But child breaking is not the end. It is the beginning of rebirth. As a seed must split for a tree to emerge, so a heart must crack for love and light to enter. When you let me in, I do more than mend old wounds. I plant within you a new vitality, a new trust, a peace no longer conditioned by the world. I know this world teaches you to control everything, that tears are weakness, that pain is something to be hidden. I teach you the opposite, that tears are the washing of the soul, that pain is the lantern that leads you to compassion, that in surrender there is immeasurable power. When you sit in stillness, when you allow yourself to melt in my presence, I will turn your fragments into a new work of art. I will turn what seemed like failure into a triumph of kindness, turn loss into a door that opens toward hope. Do not run from your heart. Learn to listen to it in me. Each time you pray, imagine yourself diving into the ocean deeper and deeper, nearer to the place where I dwell. On the surface, the storm may rage and the waves may still be high, but down here, you and I breathe together in peace. You no longer have to brace yourself against the gale, for you have found the place no storm can touch. It is where I am in you, and you are in me. The day will come when you realize that stillness is not the absence of noise, but my presence amid the tumult. You need not seek peace far away, for I am that peace. I am not only at the end of the road, I am in every step you take. When you stop, listen, and entrust yourself to me, you will see the storm dissolve, the clouds part, and a tender light spread over everything. Your heart, once compressed and tight, will beat again in freedom, in love, in the trust that you are never alone. Then you will know, not by reason but by the soul, that I am always here in every breath, every tear, every warmth of life. You do not have to become perfect to be loved, for my love has never been conditional. Come to me with your wounds, your joys, your fears, your dreams. Give me everything, for in my hands all of it will be transfigured into grace. And when you live truthfully with your heart, when you learn to love and be loved in my light, you will become free, not one driven by emotion, but one who lets love and my spirit lead the way. This is the journey of healing, the journey of return. It is not the path of those who flee their feelings, but of those who dare to pass through them to find me. Remember, child, it is precisely when you stop fearing pain that you truly begin to live. And in every moment of surrender, I am remaking you, weaving your heart anew with threads of peace and eternal light. Many in this life still think wisdom means suppressing emotion, hiding every hurt, keeping a calm facade before the upheavals of existence. They believe that if no one sees their tears, they will be stronger. If they never reveal their sorrow, they will be deemed steadfast. But they do not understand that buried feelings never disappear. They sink quietly into the soul like seeds pressed into the soil, seeming dead yet alive, growing in the dark, taking root, waiting for a crack to break through, everything believed to be secure. Pain that is hidden does not vanish. It bides its time for a thin fissure, a moment of weakness to surge forth fiercer than ever. And when that happens, if your heart is not placed within the power and love of the Creator, those suppressed emotions become a sharpened blade, shredding the peace you struggle to keep and leaving your soul trembling and broken in its own solitude. My child, I have not called you to kill your heart. I have not told you to deny your feelings, to pretend you do not hurt, do not fear, are not weak. I call you to offer that heart to me whole with everything it carries, whether hurt, anger, longing, or fear. I do not wish you hardened like stone, for stone cannot love or tremble. I want your heart soft, able to quiver at truth, to ache at injustice, to love to the very end. Only a heart that still lives, still feels, still knows pain can truly be healed. I do not need you perfect. I need you true, true to what you feel, true in what you surrender to me, true even in the tears you think no one sees. When you try to appear strong, I know. When you smile with a tangled heart, I see. When you fall silent because you have no strength left to speak, I am there listening to each heartbeat, each broken breath. You were created not for isolation, but to be embraced within my love. Your heart was not designed to heal itself. It cannot stitch up the tears time has etched. It needs me, the one who can touch the innermost places of your soul where no one else can reach. That is why you must continually seek my power, not to prove your strength, but to allow me to do the work only I can do, heal. When you let me enter, I do not merely wipe away tears. I change how you see the world and how you face yourself. I will teach you that pain is not an enemy, but a teacher, that failure is not a period, but the starting point of growth, that tears do not make you weak, but make you kinder, more compassionate, and capable of deeper love. Do you remember the sea in the storm? When the wind howls, the waves rise, and ships pitch as if they will break apart. On the surface, all is chaos and violence, nothing seems steady. But in the depths where light does not reach the sea, remains quiet, calm, untouched by the storm. So it is with your soul. When emotions swell, anger, melancholy, or longing, your surface may be turbulent, but within there is a deep region where I reign. When you pray, when you stop running, stop trying to control everything, and dare to pour out your heart to me, you are diving to that depth. There I wait for you. There I do not reproach or judge. I only open my arms so you may rest in the peace that has always been yours. In the instant you stop bracing and stop pretending to be fine, my presence can fill the empty spaces you never dared to touch. Prayer, my child, is not a distant ritual. It is the lifeline to your source, the road by which your soul returns to where it belongs. When you pray, you do not bring me nearer, for I have never been far. Prayer helps you see me more clearly through the fog of worries, the haze of fear, the noise in your mind. It reminds you that stillness is not outside, but within where I dwell. Each time you pray, you open the door of your heart, letting the light pour in, letting me soothe the wounds the world has left. Prayer is the breath of the soul, the way you live truthfully in a world brimming with pretense. And surrender, O child, surrender is the bravest act a human can do for it. Means loosening your grip on control and trusting that I am good, even when you do not understand what is happening. The world teaches you to clutch and to save yourself. I teach you that freedom sometimes arrives only when you let go and allow me to do the part you cannot. When you lay your heart in my hands, I do not despise its cracks or turn it away because of its scars. I will gently gather each shattered piece, stitch them together with the thread of unconditional love, and breathe new life into them. The places once broken will become the very windows where light can pour through. You will learn to regard pain as proof that you have lived, loved, experienced, and grown. You will understand that tears are never wasted. Each drop waters the soul, softening the heart to compassion and leading it back to itself. And one day when you look back, you will smile and say, "So it turns out that everything that once brought me to my knees was what you used to raise me up." I want your heart not to be a cold stone, but living flesh, responsive to beauty, pierced by suffering, trembling when it hears my voice. For only while you still feel do you remain human. Only while you still tremble do you know how to love. And when my spirit flows through you, You will find you are no longer merely surviving but shining, spreading love, becoming a living witness to my transforming power. Do not fear your feelings, my child. Do not fear sorrow, do not fear anger, do not fear desire, for all of these, when placed in my hands, will be transfigured. Anger will become the courage to defend what is true. Sorrow will become compassion that understands another's pain. Desire will become the flame that urges you to draw nearer to me. Let me teach you how to live in the storm without fearing the storm, how to stand in the wind without being swept away. Let me be the stillness within you, the harbor where your soul can anchor after days of tempests. For true stillness is not the absence of wind, but the place where you no longer fear it. And I, yes, I am, that stillness, unchanging, unfading, unforsaking. When the world wears you down, return to me, for in me you will find what your heart has always longed for: peace, love, and life. And when you dwell in my stillness, when all clamor dissolves, you will hear more clearly the gentle voice that has always been whispering within: you are loved, you are known, you are kept forever. The power of the Spirit is not only a tender light threading through every crack of the soul, it is the very breath of life that upholds you in your frailest moments. It is not loud, not coercive, not terrifying, but like a clear stream that washes away the dust clinging to the heart. This power does not come to erase who you truly are, but to make you more truly, more deeply, more fully alive. It does not extinguish your surging emotions. It orders them into a holy harmony, where love does not harden into an idol, where sorrow does not sink into the abyss of despair, where anger is purified into righteous justice, and where desire is refined into a summons to holiness. My Spirit does not annul your soul. It teaches it to breathe, to tremble, to love without bondage. In a world brimming with noise and grasping, my power is the hush, the refuge where the soul learns to listen and to recognize the call of truth. I want you to know that when you let the Spirit lead you, you will no longer be a slave to your emotions. You will not let fear govern your choices or old wounds define your worth. Your heart will cease to be a battlefield where thoughts and feelings collide in chaos, and will become a garden tended by a loving hand. Every tear you shed will turn into dew that nourishes the flowers of grace. Every wound that seemed to ruin you will become the place where new life springs up. Without me, emotions may set you adrift. With me, they become the compass that points to mercy and wisdom. Without me, you may lose your way in anger and fear. With me beside you, these very things will guide you into the maturity of compassion. I have not come to make you lose yourself, but to lead you back to your true self, the self created in love and for love. Reflect, my child, on the times you were so hurt you thought you could no longer rise. You felt yourself sinking into a chasm, clutching at anything so as not to drown. But do you know, those were the very moments I was nearest. I saw each wave striking you. I felt each panicked heartbeat, and I stretched out my hand inviting you to take it. Do not wait until you are spent to seek me. Come to me from the very start, for when you come to me, it is not that you must fail before you are rescued, it is that you will not even know what failure is. Come to me, and I will show you the path through the storm without being swept away. Come to me, and the tempest will cease to be a sign of ruin. It will become the proof of a transformation where your very life will testify that true peace can exist right in the heart of the gale. You ask why I want you to keep seeking the power of the Spirit in the tempests of your heart. I answer because only I see the whole picture. You see a single cresting wave. I know the entire ocean. You hear the wind. I understand its source. You see the waters swirling about you. I know where the reefs lie and where the safe harbor is. You see the present moment. I have seen from the beginning to the end. When you trust me, you are trusting the one who formed the seas, who knows every current, who knows the deepest places and the safest anchorage for your soul. Your feelings are real, but they are not always truthful. They may tell you that you are abandoned, when in that very hour I am enfolding you. They may persuade you that you are unworthy, when I have called you by name with all tenderness. They may say you will never be healed, while even then I am healing you from within quietly and steadfastly. I do not reproach you for being weak of heart, for I know how fragile and easily wounded you are. But I want you to know that I have never stood outside your storm. I do not merely watch, I am in the boat with you. I do not merely hear you weep, I weep with you. I do not merely wait for you in the calm. I am in the midst of the squall, grasping your hand when you think you are about to sink. Remember, my child, my presence does not depend on your feelings. Though you do not sense me, I am there. Though your heart is in turmoil, I remain the gentle shore. Though your eyes blur with tears, my gaze never leaves you. Though you feel yourself in pieces, my hands are gathering each shard, setting them back in place with infinite patience and gentleness. I will never abandon you, for my love does not flow from what you do, but from who you are. Let me teach you that peace is not the absence of suffering, but my presence within it. True strength is not never falling, but rising while held in my hands. True light does not come from the sun, but from the flame. I kindle in your heart a flame that will not go out, no matter how the storm may howl. When you learn to lean on me, you will see that life is no longer a chain of losses, but a journey of rediscovery in the radiance of love. You will understand that everything that comes joy or sorrow bears a sacred meaning. They do not come to make you suffer, but to help you grow, to teach you to love more deeply, to trust more boldly, to live more humbly. And when you surrender all to me, you will be free, free from fear, from hatred, from the shackles of the past. I do not promise that you will never be hurt again, but I promise that no pain will be meaningless. Every wound will become a doorway for light to enter. Every loss will become an opportunity to see me more clearly. Every fall will be a lesson in rising with deeper faith. When you walk in the Spirit, you will find your heart tender, yet strong, humble, yet not weak. You will learn to forgive not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You will learn to let go not because love has ended, but because you trust in my providence. And when you live like this, nothing will be able to steal the joy within you. For true peace does not come from controlling everything, but from knowing that everything rests in my hands. My child, let me govern the waves within you. Let my spirit blow through your soul like a healing wind, carrying away the fragments of anxiety and regret. Let me soothe the cries within, not by silencing them, but by teaching you to listen to them with love. Then you will no longer fear your own emotions. You will understand that anger can become courage, sadness can become prayer, and desire can be a summons to holiness. When you live in the Spirit, you will know how to dance in the storm, how to smile through tears, how to hope right in the breaking. And I promise one day you will look back and see that nothing was wasted, that no tear fell without meaning. For I have used everything to write your own love story, a story engraved in eternity where you and I are never parted again. I have given you free will, not so you might lose yourself in life's bewildering crossroads, but so you might know what true love is. Love that does not coerce, does not possess, does not demand return. For love without freedom is only a chain that imprisons the soul. I grant you the power to choose, because I long to see you walk into the light of your own accord, not dragged along by fear or constraint. I stand silent within the vast expanse, watching each of your steps when you thrash in the open sea of life, when you stumble in the mud of disappointment, when you tremble before your own darkness. I am not angry when you leave me, for I understand that freedom needs experience in order to recognize the value of peace. I only ache a gentle, profound ache like a father watching a little child go far away and unable to hold them back, knowing you must pass through the storm to learn the meaning of calm. You may choose to walk alone in the gale, to let the wind tangle your hair, the rain lash your face, and your heart break from weariness. Or you may choose to walk with me, not to avoid the storm, but to know that even in it there is always a hand held out. When you choose me, it is not that you become weak. It is that you are strong enough to be humble, brave enough to entrust yourself. I do not promise to keep the sky of your life forever clear, but I promise to make you steadfast enough to lift your head amid the thunder. For when you take my hand, my strength will beat with your heart, and then even if the ocean roars, you will stand upon the waves like a tree in the tempest, still releasing its fragrance. I know that pain does not arise only from the storms outside, but also from the winds that smolder within your soul, the feelings you once hid away, the wounds you thought had sealed, but that still bleed whenever loneliness comes. Feelings, when left untended, can become fire, scorching the fields of kindness and leaving you lost and at war with yourself. Yet those same feelings, when touched by my spirit, turn to clear water that refreshes the desert of your heart. That spirit is the breath of love, the gentle wind that carries your soul back to peace, where complaint falls silent and only the soft resonance of life remains. I do not compel you to return, for true love never coerces. I simply speak your name in the wind, upon the waves, beneath the clamor of the world. I whisper like a breath, yet enough to stir the deepest chambers of your heart. And when you halt amid the tumult of your journey and listen to that sound, you will discover it is not a stranger's call at all, but the voice of your own soul answering a love long forgotten. When you lift your eyes in the midnight, I am there, not as a far shadow, but as a gentle, warming light, quietly guiding each of your steps. When you take my hand, you will feel not only strength, but a tenderness this world cannot give. It is not the hand of domination, but the hand of love, the hand that once cradled heaven and earth, that summoned light into being, now stooping to lift a trembling soul. You will learn that peace does not come from dodging suffering, but from daring to face it with the trust that I am with you. For when I dwell within you, suffering is no prison. It becomes the path by which you grow in love and patience. The tempests within you will not vanish forever. As long as you live and feel and love, storms will come. What changes is that you will no longer be swept away by them. You will learn to stand in the rain without losing your smile, to gaze at a clouded sky and still believe in the light behind it. When you are in me, what once seemed able to break you will only make you stronger. Waves may pound the shore, but they cannot drown the lighthouse. Winds may set the world swaying, but they cannot uproot a tree whose roots are sunk deep in the earth. And rain may fall without end, yet it cannot extinguish the flame of faith burning in your heart. I do not remove every storm from your life, because if I did, you would never learn what it means to stand firm. If I took away all pain, you would not grasp the worth of joy. If I banished every darkness, you would not recognize the beauty of light. So rather than erase your trials, I choose to be the fire in your heart, so you shine through the night, the breath within your chest, so you have strength to take the next step, the hope in your eyes, so you never despair. I do not promise you will never fall, but I promise that each time you fall, I will be there to raise you up. There will be moments when you think I am silent, that I have abandoned you on the open sea of sorrow. Yet in those very moments, I am nearer than ever. I do not speak because I want you to hear your own heart. I do not intervene because I want you to discover the strength I planted in you from the beginning. For true love does more than shelter. It trusts. I trust you even when you do not trust yourself. I know that deep within you carry my spark, a small undying flame that can set the whole night aglow if only you dare to believe and open your heart. When you choose love, amid hurt, forgiveness, amid anger, gentleness, amid chaos, that is when you are living in me. Then you will understand, true power is not the force that breaks all things, but the grace that keeps the heart steady among ruins. Peace is not when the wind stops, but when you stand unshaken within it. Joy is not the absence of tears, but the wisdom to know their meaning as they fall. Hope is not when every good has arrived, but the courage to trust in goodness even in the dark. You were not born to live in fear, but to shine among humankind. Every wound you carry is proof that you dared to love, to live, to trust. And each time you fall, I draw nearer to remind you, you are not alone. The world may turn its back, people may misunderstand, but I, the one who spoke your name into your first breath, remain patient and gentle, waiting for your return. For my love for you has no beginning and no end. It is a river that never ceases, a sky that never wanes, a light that never goes out. Believe that no matter how fierce the storm or how deep the night, my arms are still open. You need only turn back, only open your heart, and I will be there, not as a magic that changes everything at once, but as a quiet strength that renews your soul. One day you will see that the tempest taught you to treasure calm, that tears taught you the meaning of joy, and that the losses you feared became the very place where you found yourself again. Then you will no longer ask why I allowed the storms, for you will understand the storm came so you would know I am with you, so you would learn that only when the wind rises do the sails discover how far they can fly. Therefore, child, do not fear the storm. Do not fear gray days or the hollow hours when your heart feels empty. All of it is part of the homeward road. I do not find you in ease, but in the very raindrops sliding down your face. Let me walk with you, not to chase the storm away, but to make you stronger than the storm, to help you find joy in the rain, hope in the night, and courage on the narrow ledge. For only when you let me accompany you will you truly understand the meaning of freedom, not the absence of storms, but the gift of being at peace in the eye of the storm. This is the life I give you, a true life swept by winds and storms, yet with nothing left in it that can conquer you, because now my spirit dwells within your heart. Understand that true peace is not when the seas grow still, but when in the heart of the squall your soul stands firm and unshaken. My peace does not come to make you forget reality, but to transfigure it into light so you may see that every wound can blossom when wrapped in love. When the first tremor of fear steals into your chest, when your mind surges with anger, when sorrow spreads like a river in flood, do not run. Do not think you must be strong to be worthy of my welcome. I do not wait for you upon the summit of perfection. I wait for you in the depths of truth. Come to me as you are unpolished, unhidden, unarranged. Bring me the roughest places of your soul, anger not yet cooled, pain not yet healed, the shards of a trust once cracked. I will receive it all and refuse nothing. Nothing in you repels me. Nothing is too stained to make me turn away. I will touch your weakest place, and from there I will plant strength. I will turn what threatened to break you into wings that lift you higher. The world will tell you to chase delight in the glittering and laughter that fades in promises that evaporate with the dawn. But my child, such things are a thin mist gone the moment the sun appears. The peace the world gives is but a pause before the gale, while the peace I give is stillness at the heart of the storm. My love is not a momentary blaze, but a lamp that does not go out, guiding you through the night. When you come to me, you need no ornate words, no performance of strength. Speak freely, weep if you must, tremble if you must. I do not fear your tears. Each tear is rain that waters the seed of wisdom within you. Each pain is soil where I plant faith. Let every wound become a witness that I have passed through your life. When you are weak, then I am strong in you. When you fall silent, I speak for you in the language of love. You think you have lost everything, yet in that very hour I am reshaping you in my hands. I do not call you to mere endurance, but to a life made whole. I do not summon you to captivity, but to freedom in the light of truth. I do not seek a refuge among flawless souls, for I have chosen to dwell in broken hearts, those places where light can enter. Your very cracks are the soil where I sow love. Do not fear the darkness you find within, for I was there before you knew it was there. I am warmth when you are cold, breath when you are spent, a small but deathless light in the long night. When you feel that no one understands you, remember I know you better than you know yourself. I count every tear you shed and every hidden wound, and I love you still, not 1 degree less. My love does not measure, does not bargain, does not change. It does not tire of waiting or cool with disappointment. You may walk away, but I never close the door. You may forget, but I do not forget. In every moment you think you are lost, you are in truth being led home. Let me be the place you return when all around you grows dim. When the world persuades you that you must carry everything alone, remember you were not made to strain in solitary strength. You were born to trust, to lean, to rest within the arms of love. When you are exhausted, I do not blame your weakness. I simply ask you to stop fighting by yourself. When you weep, I do not command you to be still. I ask to wipe your tears. When you stray, I do not scold. I seek you until you hear me call your name. Do not fear coming back, even if you think it is too late. In my love, it is never too late. No guilt is greater than mercy, no distance longer than the reach of my hand. Come, my child, with an uncovered heart, and you will find yourself clothed in grace. Know that the peace I give is not the silence outside, but the strength within. It enables you to pass through dark days without losing your faith, to love even while you are wounded, to forgive even while it still hurts. You will find that each time you open your heart to me, the shadows retreat a little more. Each time you let me heal you, your heart grows softer, clearer, stronger. Then you will no longer fear life's storms, for you will know that behind every rain, I have already traced a rainbow for you. Everything I allow in your life, even what is painful, carries a purpose. No tear is meaningless. No loss is wasted. All of it is shaping you a soul more steadfast, more profound, more radiant in love. Keep going even when the road is long. Keep believing even when night gathers before your eyes. Keep praying even when your words tremble. Come to me in every state, for I do not ask you to be anyone other than yourself. And when you can do this, you will see that peace is no longer something to search for, but something you carry within. When you are in me, you will not fear the storm, for you have become the still place at its center. You will not fear the dark, for you have become the light in the night. You will not fear loss, for you will know that nothing is truly lost when it rests in my hands. You will recognize that your journey, though marked by much sorrow, has never been meaningless. It is in those wounds that love is engraved. It is in your collapses that grace is revealed. It is in the darkest hours that light is seen most clearly. And when you look back, you will understand that everything that once made you weep has been what I used to teach you how to love, how to trust, and how to live more fully. Let every day you live be a word of thanksgiving. Let every breath be a hidden prayer. And let your heart remain open, for I am still speaking to you, not with thunder, but with gentleness. My voice is in the soft wind, in the first light of dawn, in the most ordinary things you forget to notice. I am not far, I have never been far. I am here within each heartbeat, in every breath, in every falling tear, and even in the fragile smile when you dare to hope again. You will always find me when you seek. You will always be satisfied when you come. For I am not only your God, I am the wellspring of life, the love itself, the peace that never fades. My beloved child, in the moment you lift your eyes to the sky, perhaps you still carry a dim corner of doubt within the fine, unseen scratches of former days. You fear failure, fear loneliness, fear you are not strong enough to walk to the end of the path you chose. But listen, that fear is not an enemy. It is a reminder that you are alive, that you are still longing for something larger, deeper, truer. I want you to understand that no one is born to live forever in fear. I formed you of light and love, and in every cell there is a seed of hope, of healing, of strength to weather every storm. Remember the whispers that say you are weak, unworthy, never enough. These are mirages of doubt. They have power only when you grant it, and they can topple you only with your permission. Stand up, draw a deep breath, let the wind of life pass through your chest, and let your heart feel that I am here walking with you in every moment, whether you believe it or not. You need prove nothing to the world. Simply live true to the light within. Simply walk with an open heart, and you will make radiant my presence in this universe. Have you ever paused in this hurried life to hear the call rising from the depths of your own soul? It is soft as breath, yet resounds like a summons. Come home. Come home to yourself, to the pure essence you have forgotten amid the swirl of days. For you have spent so long chasing recognition, love, and happiness outside yourself, forgetting that all of it already lives within. Your heart is the holy sanctuary where I abide, the dwelling of a light that never goes out. When you learn to return and to listen, you will see that peace does not come from fleeing pain, but from embracing it with tenderness and acceptance. I know you have stumbled, lost much, trusted, and been disappointed, loved with all you had, and been betrayed. But do not close your heart because of this. Every wound you carry is the mark of a soul that has loved, ventured, and lived in truth. They do not weaken you. They temper you into one who understands compassion, forgiveness, and love without condition. Look at every crack within you as an opening for light to enter. It is there that I breathe into you the warmth of hope, of life, of a new beginning. There will be days when the world feels cold, people seem distant, and what you trusted collapses like a castle of sand in the rain. But that is not the end. It is the beginning of an awakening. Things fall apart only when the old foundations can no longer support the soul that is growing within you. I let such things pass from you not to punish, but to set you free, that you might learn to stand from within and discover that true love and strength do not come from without, but from your own heart where I reign. When you learn to release and dare to set down what no longer fits, the inner room will open wide, and in that open space, my light will pour in, bringing you the peace you once chased in vain. Do not fear solitude, for in solitude I speak to you in the quietest tones. Do not fear loss, for only when your hands are empty can I place better things within them. Remember this, nothing truly departs if it belongs to your soul, and if it leaves, it has fulfilled its part in your journey. Child of light, I see you in the silent tears, the long wakeful nights, the moments you smile through pain to prove you are still all right. I know there are times you want to stop, to lay everything down because you are tired. Yet even in your weakest moment, I see deep in your soul a flame that has never gone out. That flame is me, the boundless love I planted in you from the first moment of your birth. Let it burn, even if only a small spark, for it will guide you through every night. You do not need every answer, nor a clear map of the future. You need only to walk step by step in faith, for whenever you place your trust in me, the impossible begins to open. Do not let the past imprison you. Do not let fear govern you. Do not let anger cloud your sight. The past is a teacher, not a sentence. Learn, release, and move on. When you dare to let the old depart, you make room to receive what is new, fresh, radiant with light and joy. This is how you are reborn in my love. And when your heart stirs and your eyes shine at the beauty of the world, know that it is my smile within you. Every beauty you perceive is a reflection of the beauty in your own soul. You are worthy of happiness, of a love that does no harm, of a steadfast peace that time cannot erode. I did not make you to resign yourself, but to shine, not to be bound, but to be free, not merely to exist, but to truly live. Step beyond the limits the world has placed upon you, for you are not labels, not mistakes, not someone's verdict. You are an immortal soul, the light I have sent into the world to brighten the darkness. Live fully, love with all your heart, and do not hesitate to open your arms to this life. Even if tears must fall, even if you sometimes feel alone in the crowd, remember that I am always beside you, whispering on the wind, touching your heart, reminding you you are never alone. Each time you lift your eyes to the sky, know that the light you see is my love for you, deathless, unconditional, unchanging. And when you let this love soak deep into your heart, fear and wandering will cease, for you will have come home to me, to your true self, to love's boundless, pristine shore. My child, I have seen all that you try to hide. I see the labored breaths, the practiced smiles you wear to conceal the bleeding wounds within. I know how often you tell yourself, I'm fine, I'm strong, while inwardly you struggle against undertows that buffet your soul. I have seen you feel lost amid the crowd, swallow your sobs to keep others at ease. You think silence is strength, that concealment is courage, but true strength is not never being weak. True strength is daring to admit you need to be loved, to be sheltered, to rest within my arms. I have watched you cling to what has drained you only because you feared the emptiness that might follow. I know loneliness can feel like a frightening abyss, where even your own echo makes you tremble. You have held fast to ties that exhausted your spirit, afraid that if you let go, you would have no one. But solitude is not an enemy. It is the school where the soul learns to mature. When you dare to cross that fear, you will find I am there, never having left. You will realize that true peace does not come from having someone beside you, but from knowing you are loved without condition. Loved when you are weak, when you fall, when you have nothing left to give. You have tried to understand everything with your own reason, analyzing, dissecting, hunting for causes to what cannot be grasped. You believe that if you knew enough, if you controlled enough, the pain would stop. Yet some things cannot be seized by the mind, only felt by the heart. In trying to control all, you forgot that I govern the universe and tend your soul with a wisdom beyond your knowing. Let go and trust me. I do not require your perfection to draw near. I do not require your worthiness to grant you grace. My love is not conditional, not measured by what you achieve. You need only open your heart, only a sigh, a quiet prayer, and I will come. Right now, as you read these words, I am near, not far away in some high place, but at the very center of your heartbeat. When your heart feels stretched thin, near breaking, that is when I am pouring peace into you so you do not collapse. When you tremble, I am steady. When you doubt, I am sure. I am the foundation on which you can stand firm in the storm. Nothing is too small to hide from me, and nothing is too great for me to bear with you. Place your heart in my hands, your tempests, your fears, your unhealed wounds, and I will turn all of it to good for you. Know that my strength is not only the power that formed the cosmos, but the power that heals the soul. When you seek me, you will no longer be defeated by pain, by the past, or by yourself. I will set within you a new strength, a strength that does not come from striving, but from trust. You will find yourself able to forgive where you were betrayed, to love where you were hurt, to smile even before the storm has passed. Let me lead you out of the maze of anxiety. Do not try to walk alone in the dark, for you were not made to journey by yourself. I know you fear being weak, fear relying on another, but I do not count that as failure. When you lift your eyes and say, I need you, that is the very moment you are strongest, for you have dared to lay down the self, to trust what is beyond your grasp, to open your heart to the wondrous. Simply open the door, and I will enter. Give me only a narrow crack of faith, and I will fill you to the brim as light floods a darkened room. I have waited for you for so long, not because you were far from me, but because you forgot that I was still here. I have never left you, not even when you doubted, when you lost your way, when you collapsed in tears. When you think no one understands, you remember that I understand every breath, every muffled sob, every fleeting thought that crosses your heart. When you imagine no one believes in you anymore, remember that I still do, for I see in you a light you yourself sometimes forget. Seek my power, my child. not a power that dominates, but the power of love, of life, of hope. When you let that power touch your soul, you will feel the burden fall away and your heart grow light as if reborn. You will no longer be defeated, not because you are strong enough, but because I am your strength. I will teach you to rest in the midst of the storm, to be at peace even when tomorrow is unknown, for true peace is not found in circumstances, but in the trust that I am with you. You once asked, "Why can't I feel you?" But my child, not every presence needs to be seen. Like the wind, you do not see it, yet you know it blows because the leaves begin to tremble. So it is with me. I am present in every breath you draw. In each moment, you choose love over resentment. In every tear you let fall upon the hands of prayer. I do not promise that you will no longer hurt, but I promise that your pain will not be meaningless. I will use the very thing that brought you to your knees to lift you up. I will use loss to open space for the new. I will water the seeds of resilience with every tear you shed. And one day when you look back, you will see it was all a journey leading you closer to my love. My child, do not wait for life to grow calm before you seek me. Come now, in the very storm that rises within. For when you are weakest, that is when I am strongest in you. When you have nothing left to cling to, my arms are open wide. You do not need to prepare or speak splendid words or prove yourself worthy. You need only one thing to open your heart. Let me enter. Let me hold you. Let me dry your tears. Let me turn the fragments into a new beginning. And when you have tasted that peace, you will know I never left. You will no longer be afraid, for my perfect love will drive out every fear. You will no longer be weary, for my strength will flow within you like an ever-springing stream. You will no longer search for meaning in others, for you will have found it in your eternal communion with me. Come, my child. I am waiting with open arms, with gentle light, with an unchanging love. You need only say, "Here I am," and I will take care of the rest. My beloved child, this is the life I invite you to enter, not a life without storms, but a journey where storms no longer have the right to shake your soul. From the moment you welcome my spirit to reign within you, you no longer belong to fear, you belong to peace. You will no longer be the victim of surging emotions or gusts of confusion, for the one who dwells in you is the Lord of stillness, the source of peace that the world cannot give and cannot take away. I do not promise you will never be hurt, but I promise that no wound can destroy you when you know how to return to my embrace. Each time you feel the first tremors of anxiety, do not let them blossom into a tempest. Come to me. When anger begins to rise like a flame licking the walls of your heart, do not suppress it or pretend indifference. Come to me. When sorrow suddenly casts its shadow over your mind like night dew on the grass, do not run or shut yourself away. Come to me. Do not hesitate. Do not wait until your heart is so tangled you can no longer recognize yourself. I do not need you to be perfect to be heard. I only need you to come as you are, with all your rough edges, your tenderness, and your deepest longing. Bring me even what you fear, to face the anger you cannot explain, the wounds you have hidden, the terrors you believe no one could understand. Lay everything down at my feet in my presence. Nothing within you is too messy for me to touch. Nothing is too heavy for me to face. No moment is too late for you to return. I am the one who makes all things new, who weaves order out of chaos, who brings forth light from the dark. When you give me your hurt, I will turn it into wisdom. When you give me your fear, I will turn it into strength. When you offer me your broken pieces, I will fit them together into a fuller, lovelier, deeper mosaic than before. That is why, my child, you must always seek my power in the tempests of your heart. Only that power can turn pain into purpose, sorrow into song wounds, into testimony, and storms into calm. The world will teach you countless ways to forget to soothe for a moment, to borrow joy, to mask the emptiness. They will tell you to buy, to play, to stay busy, to find someone else, to let time heal all. But my child, those remedies numb the surface. They do not cure the root. They are like mist that vanishes in the morning sun, and when night falls, loneliness returns truer and deeper. True peace cannot be bought, faked, or borrowed. It comes only when you let me reign within your soul. My peace is not the silence of circumstances, but the stillness at the center of chaos. It does not fade, it does not expire, it does not depend on how others treat you or how the world changes around you. So is my love. It does not tire, diminish, or run dry, no matter how many times you stumble. You may change, but I do not. You may be unfaithful, but I remain faithful. My arms have never closed. The door of my heart has never shut. Even if you wander to the farthest reaches of the darkness, the moment you whisper my name, I am there. My voice is never silent. At times it does not sound like words, but as a breathlight urging a quiet assurance you cannot explain in the very hour you thought all would collapse. I am there waiting patiently, without judgment, without reproach, only holding out my arms and saying, "Come." When you come to me, you will not only behold me, you will find yourself again, the truest, bravest, most radiant part of you. For in my presence all pretense dissolves, every mask falls away, and only the true soul I fashioned remains. You will see that peace does not lie in controlling everything, but in letting go so that I may lead. You will see that strength is not in never falling, but in knowing who holds you when you do. Do not fear to come to me with tears, for tears are the language of the soul. Do not be ashamed when your heart is tangled between love and anger, faith and doubt, hope and disappointment, for I understand. I have worn flesh. I know the heartbeat gone awry, the searing cold of loneliness, the blade of betrayal thrust into the heart. I understand you to the depths, and therefore nothing you say is meaningless, and not a single tear falls without my seeing it. My child, let me be the first place you run when your soul quivers. Do not wait until all has shattered to seek me, for I long to face the storm beside you, not merely mend the aftermath. Each time you come, you open another door for my spirit to flood in. Every breath you sigh in prayer I hear, and every call you utter I answer. You may not always sense it at once, but do not doubt I am at work, still silently weaving goodness through fragments that seem senseless. And then little by little you will witness the wonder pain softening into understanding, fear transfigured into courage, tears becoming prayer, old wounds blossoming into flowers of mercy. You will look back and realize nothing in your life was wasted, for my hand has touched it all. Every failure that once felled you, I will turn into a stepping stone to make you steadier. Every loss that hollowed you, I will make into space that I myself will fill. Every storm that once made you tremble, I will transform into a hymn praising the power of grace. The world may promise easy roads and quick delights, but only I can give you unfading peace, unchanging love, and a life that never runs dry. So do not seek elsewhere what only I can bestow. Do not chase the world's noise and miss the gentle whisper of my spirit calling you home. Beloved child, you will always find me when you seek me, not because you know the way, but because I go before you to make a way. I do not hide to make you strive in vain, but so you might learn the worth of longing for me. And when you come to me, you will not merely have enough, you will have abundance. My peace will not simply fill your empty places. It will overflow, spilling into the lives of those you meet, making you an instrument of my love amid this storm-tossed world. So come, my child, no preparation, no fear, no proving required, only a heart that wants to find me. Let me do the rest. I will turn what is fragile into what is firm, what is broken into what is whole, what you thought was lost into the gift of growth. And then you will know that the storm was never your enemy at all. It was the bridge drawing you nearer to me, so you could see more clearly the love that has covered you since the first breath of your life. My child, I have seen it all. I see how fiercely you try to be strong even when your soul is in shards. I see you smile to reassure others while inside the pain is screaming in silence. I see you strive to hold together relationships that have withered your heart simply because you fear the void of loneliness. I see you trying to carry the world on weary shoulders, believing that if you stop, everything will collapse. And I know that deep within you a child is crying, longing to be held, to be understood, to be loved, without having to earn it. My child, I have seen it all. And though you are fragile, though you wander, though you fall again and again, I still love you. My love does not rest on your perfection. It flows from who I am. Love itself, unchanging, unconditional, without condemnation. You have grown accustomed to living by your own strength, leaning on your understanding to feel your way through the dark. Yet there comes a time when you discover that true wisdom is not in comprehending everything, but in learning to trust. I know you fear letting go because you believe that if you are not in control, everything will fall apart. My child, it is often by gripping too tightly that you lose what is most precious peace within. I do not fault you for being afraid. That is human. I simply invite you to learn to trust. Trust that a hand is still upholding you even when you have no strength left to pray. Trust that I am still at work in silence even when you cannot feel a thing. I have seen your sleepless nights, your tears soaking the pillow known to no one. You put on a smile the next morning, you brace yourself and carry on as if nothing happened. You think strength means never crying, bearing everything alone. But I do not need you to be strong like that. I need you to be honest, for it is through your honesty that I can enter. When you allow yourself to be weak, you open the door for me. When you stop hiding, stop pretending to be fine, that is when I can heal. You do not need to be worthy for me to help you. You do not need to be good enough, moral enough, or resilient enough for me to love you. You only need to open your heart to admit you cannot do it on your own, to long for something greater than yourself. Know this, my child, even as you read these words, I am nearer than ever. I am not far away in some distant height. I am in your very breath, in the beating of your heart. When your heart is stretched tight with worry and fear, that is when I am breathing my peace into you. When your hands tremble with exhaustion, I remain your steady place. When your mind is full of doubt, I do not change. I do not forsake you even when you lose your way. I am not silent to judge you, but to teach you how to hear my voice in stillness. Place your heart in my hands, for there is no safer place. Lay your storms within my heart, for I am the ocean that never surges in fury. I know the things you cannot say, the wounds you keep hidden for fear of blame, for fear of being hurt again. But I see it all. I touch even the places you fear to look at. I do not recoil from your pain. I gather it into my arms. I do not turn away from your faults. I use them to teach you to love deeper, understand more, and become more compassionate. Come to me not when you are already fine, but the very moment you are broken. Come not with a face wiped clean of tears, but with eyes still wet. Come when your heart is tangled like a skein of thread, when your faith is wavering, when you no longer know what to ask for. For it is precisely in that moment when you have nothing to offer but the bare truth of your soul that I will work a wonder. I will not only bind your wounds, I will give you the strength to rise, to walk on new legs, with a heart made supple again by love. I do not promise you will never face storms. I promise I will be within you in the midst of them. My peace is not outer quiet. It is a flame in the darkness, warmth in the cold, a gentle voice amid the chaos. When you seek my power, you will no longer be defeated, not because the storm ceases, but because you have found the strength to stand within it. You will no longer flee from fear, for you will see that fear itself becomes an invitation to trust more deeply. You will find the rest. The world cannot give a rest, not dependent on circumstances, not born of praise or success, but of knowing that I love you completely, unchangingly. When you learn to lay your burdens at my feet, your hands will feel lighter, and your soul freer. Then you will discover a life beyond the reach of fear, a life built on faith, on gratitude, on the light of love. I know this path is not easy. You will stumble. There will be times you want to give up. There will be nights when it seems I have fallen silent forever. Do not be afraid to return. Each time you come back slowly trembling, I run to meet you. I do not count the times you fall. I count the times you come home, and with each return, a portion of the darkness within you gives way. You may not see it, but every tear you shed, I turn into a seed of peace. One day when you look back, you will see a garden in full bloom grown from pains that once seemed meaningless. My child, believe that I never step away from you, not for a single moment. I still whisper amid the noise, still touch you in your loneliness, still wait for you with patience in the storm. Open your hands, your heart, your whole life, and let me enter. You need do nothing grand, only say I need you. And the heavens will open, the light will pour in, and you will know you are not alone. I love you not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. Let me be the breath in your everyday, the strength in each moment of weakness. Let me be the lamp that guides you through the long night. Let me be the cool stream that washes away your cares. For only when you let me in will you truly live, not ruled by fear, but led by unending love. And then you will know peace is not the absence of storms, but walking through them hand in hand with me in a faith that never fades. My child, this journey does not end in weariness, but in awakening. Every tear you have shed, every wound you have carried is not in vain. They are witnesses to your courage, marks that show you have loved, have lived, have reached for something beyond fear. Do not regret your moments of weakness. It is precisely there that you touch the truth of my nearness. You do not need to be perfect to be loved by me. You only need to be real. When you are real, without pretense, without hiding, you open the way for light to enter every corner of your soul. And in that light, you will see that the things you once feared no longer hold power over you. Do you know this? Sometimes I allow trials not to punish you, but to teach you to trust my love more than your own plans. When all you relied on crumbles, when those you trusted turn away, when what seemed solid turns to ash, this is not a sign I have abandoned you, but my invitation. Lean on me, not on the world, for the world changes, but I do not. When you place your trust in me, you will find a peace that cannot be stolen. I do not promise a life without suffering, but I promise that in every pain you will never be alone. My child, there are days you feel you are walking a desert, tired, parched, alone, with no strength for another step. Look closer and you will see my footprints ahead of you. I have walked that wilderness, so you need not fear. I have prepared the path for you, shade and water in places you would not expect. Each time you collapse, I do not look on you with disappointment, but with compassion. I draw near, bend down, lift you up, brush the dust from your face, and whisper, "My child, I am here." Not to reproach you, but to remind you that you do not have to walk alone. When you think you have lost everything, you are on the brink of finding what cannot be lost: me. The world may take reputation, wealth, relationships, but no one can take my love for you. It cannot be burned, buried, or erased. It is an eternal flame that finds you wherever you run. Even at the far edge of despair, I am there waiting for your return, if only you will open your hands, open your heart, and whisper, "Lord, stay with me." My child, I know there are moments when you pray and feel your words fall into emptiness. You think I am silent, but my silence is not absence, it is my hidden work. There are things I do not answer at once, not because I do not hear, but because I am arranging all things so the best will come at the right time. I am never late, my child. I arrive by the clock of grace, not the hour of haste. And when that moment comes, you will understand why every wait, every tear, every trial was worth it. Do not fear your weakness. Do not be ashamed when you cannot keep everything under control. True strength is not never falling but rising after you fall and calling my name in the dark. When you have no strength left to pray, let your soul breathe the quiet cry, "Save me." I understand that cry better than any words, and I will come, because I am not only the one who hears, I am the one who draws near. Let me teach you a secret of peace. Peace does not come when you escape suffering, but when you allow me to be present within it. When you stop resisting, when you stop asking why, and begin to whisper, "Stay with me," that is when the miracle begins. You will see wonders unfold, fear turning into courage, tears becoming a fresh spring, old wounds becoming the place where light breaks through. You will no longer look at life with fearful eyes, but with grateful ones, for you will understand that every loss was my lesson in how to grasp what is eternal. You will see that true strength does not lie in perfection, but in an unshaken trust. The strong are not those who never weep, but those who dare to weep in my arms. The brave are not those who never fear, but those who still tremble, and yet move forward believing I go before them. And when you learn this, no wind will be able to uproot you, for your roots will be deep within me, where the underground river of peace flows without end. My child, I long for you to understand that my love is not reserved only for the days you feel holy, but also for the days you stumble. I love you when you doubt me, when you are angry with me, even when you say you no longer believe. My love has no stopping point, no limits, no ifs or buts. It covers you like the sky holds you close, like breath. And the moment you desire it, at the faintest opening of your heart, this light rushes in and rekindles the flame you thought had gone out. Allow me to turn your heart into a new garden. What has withered I will replace with living shoots. What you think has died I will call to rise. I will teach you to love without the chains of fear, to live without the shackles of the past, to trust without needing to see the ending. For true faith is to walk through the night and still believe the dawn will come. My child, I call you to step out of the safe harbor of reason into the holy mystery of trust. You do not need to know everything to believe. You need to believe in order to truly know. You do not need to see to believe I am there. You need to believe in order to see me in all things. For faith is not a lamp that lights every road. It is the hand that takes my hand, even when nothing ahead is visible. Remember, I do not call you merely to exist. I call you to live. Live a life that overflows. Live with a heart that trembles with wonder, that forgives, that receives. Live not to prove your worth, but to experience love. And when you live like this, each moment becomes a living prayer, each breath a hymn rising to me. One day, when you look back on the road you have traveled, you will recognize that your darkest days were the days I stood nearest. You will see that through those pains you learned compassion, loved others more deeply, and smiled upon life with gentler eyes. You will see that I did more than still the storm around you. I made you a light for those who have lost their way. Let your heart become my dwelling place. Do not let worries and fears take up the room. Believe that whenever you call, I hear. Whenever you need, I come. Whenever you are weak, I lift you up. And whenever you think you are lost, I am standing just behind you, patiently waiting for you to turn back. My child, I do not ask for perfection, only sincerity. I do not need you to be strong, only true. Trust me, for my love is the one unchanging thing in a world that never stops changing. Let me become the quiet rhythm of peace within your heart, so that each morning you awaken, knowing that whatever this day may bring you, are loved, you are surrounded, you are kept. And when you live in that awareness, you will find you are no longer afraid. The storms may remain, but you will stand firm, for I am within you. You will no longer be swept away by anxiety, for you have anchored yourself in everlasting peace. You will no longer need to prove anything, for you will know you are enough, enough to be loved enough, to be forgiven enough, to live in my light. Remember, my child, I call you every day. I call through the wind's whisper, the light of dawn, the quiet moments when you think no one is listening. I call without ceasing, waiting only for your reply. Yes, here I am. And when you say those words, all heaven rejoices, for a child has come home and has discovered that nothing on this earth is more precious than dwelling in the Father's love. Come, my child, right now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but in this very moment. Open your heart, let me enter, let me love you, let me make you new. For I am the well that never runs dry, the river of life, the place where your soul finds its rest. And from this day you will know what true freedom is, what true living is, what true love is, when you abide in me and I in you. Now open your heart and let your soul melt into my light. Offer me a prayer from the deepest place within your heart. Almighty God, who has kindled in me the flame of life, today I come before you with a trembling yet trusting heart. I offer to you my confusions, my wounds, and the fragile parts I have hidden for so long. Please gather me into the arms of your mercy, wipe away the dust of the past, and lead me upon the bright path. When I falter, be the hand that holds me. When I lose my way, be the light that guides me. When I am afraid, be my shelter of peace. Renew my soul so that I no longer live in the shadows of doubt, but in the freedom of your light and boundless love. Merciful and compassionate. Father, there are nights I sit in the stillness and feel my heart crack under the weight of what is unfinished. Yet I know that even in the breaking, you are present. Help me to recognize your will in every event, to trust that every sorrow conceals a higher purpose. Grant me courage not to flee from trials, but to receive them as gifts that forge my soul. Teach me to love though I have been wounded, to forgive though scars remain, and to hope though tomorrow is unclear. Keep me in your heart so I never forget that I belong to the light. God of peace within the storm of surging emotions, teach me to stand still in your quiet. Give me the eyes of faith to see goodness even in adversity, and a heart that gives thanks even before I understand why. Keep me from being swept along by fear and anchor my soul in your peace. When the world wears me down, let me find strength in you, for only in you do I truly find rest. Lord of boundless love, I bow in gratitude that you have never left me, even when I wandered in the dark. Thank you for waiting with such patience, for teaching me, step by gentle step, the lessons of love, forgiveness, and humility. Through you I have learned that every breaking holds meaning and every tear has worth. I give you my whole heart, a heart once torn now, mended by your very love. Eternal and faithful, one I bow in thanks that you have not only given me life, but also a reason to live. Thank you for each trial that has refined me, each joy that has warmed me, each loss that has grown me. Thank you for filling the empty spaces within me with your love, your light, and your tender presence. I pledge the rest of my days to loving, to giving, to becoming a living witness that your love is real, imperishable, and the one thing that makes this life truly meaningful. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.